Alright guys, it's T-Man and I'm back with a new video. It's on JasonBlaha. I'm gonna do a Blaha video. I haven't done it in a while since I guess he's come back from the brinks of death. So we're gonna do a video on the gym lifting gear slave. The gym lifting, recruiting, lifting gear slave himself, JasonBlaha. Alright, let's see what he has to say. Blaha says, novice mistakes, bulking way too fast. Again, bulking does not bypass MND size limit, the myonuclear domain size limit, bro, get it? It does not bypass it. It does not get the progenitor. It does not damage muscle fibers. It does not get the satellite cell to split, divide, and increase in number and donate its nuclei to support further muscle growth. It doesn't do any of these things. What it does is makes you fat, makes you insulin resistant, and it makes you fat. And it prevents aminos to get into the muscle cells to build muscles. That's what it does. Okay, dude? It's a sugar. It's a drug. Your drug-induced, whatever, your carbohydrate drug-induced diet. It just makes you fat. And it creates fake muscles. They just inflate with glycogen.
Bulking too quickly is one of the biggest mistakes I see novice lifters make. Hey everybody, I thought I would chat with you guys and gals a little bit about this today. Right. And you know, this may sound contradictory, but this is even coming from a coach who I've taken rail thin lifters, clients, and then you guys have seen over time put 30 or 40 pounds on them. But I want to be clear when I make that statement.
Okay.
Notice that, like client Robbie, if you guys watched it.
Yes, client who? Robbie? Who's that?
Vlogs back in the day. I ran his vlogs for over a year. I coached him for over 2 years, and he started at like 150 pounds at 6'2". You know, okay. And we got him up to 200 plus pounds.
So he got this Robbie lifter up to 200 pounds of fat. He got him fat on a bulk diet. 200 pounds.
All right. We got him up there, and he wasn't lean, but he was still at a reasonably healthy body fat.
Hey, what's the difference between a dirty bulk and a clean bulk? Well, a clean bulk is what, like vegan diet, and the dirty bulk is with the donuts? The bread, the donuts, and everything else? Man, I don't know what the hell these people are thinking of, but whatever, man, I don't know.
Actually stayed under 20% body fat, okay?
Look, man, plants and vegetables and donuts and bread and whatever pasta and all these weird foods, man, they do not build muscles. The only thing in this world that will build a muscle is protein, is animal protein. That's it. And plants are not protein. Okay, dude? They have amino acids in them, but they're not protein. They're cellulose. They're fiber, okay? Meat is protein and is not deficient in any nutrients, and they're actually bioavailable. And in plants, they do have they're made up of some amino acids, but they're not the kind for humans, and they're deficient in these amino acids, and they're not bioavailable to humans. Okay, dude? So they don't work at all. There's no such thing as a plant being protein. Okay, dude? They're not protein whatsoever. They'll make you insulin resistant, though, because they got drugs in them called sugar.
And that was in a fairly aggressive bulk, but that was from a very, very, very skinny guy. And even then...
A very, very, very skinny guy, aggressive bulk. Well, why doesn't he build some muscles? Why doesn't he go and build some muscle?
Near the end, he started getting fluffier than he was comfortable with. And that's an
You want to know why he got fluffy, man? Because he got fat. That's what bulk diets do. Look, I got to explain this one more time in this video. Okay, dude? I'm going to explain to you people in this video. Here's myonuclei acquired by overload exercise. Proceeds hypertrophy not lost on detraining. This is NCBI, National whatever Library of Medicine. Scroll down. There's a famous map. Everybody knows this map. Come on. There it is. There's a famous old map. What does it say there? It says untrained first training satellite cell fusion. Then it says hypertrophy. Notice here where it says detraining. What happened on detraining? Well, it says there was an atrophy, right? It says that at the bottom it says atrophied. Okay, but you still see the same amount of these so-called satellite cells, right? These satellite cells, these donated nuclei and these myotubes and the donated well, they're just showing you the nuclei, but there's a whole thing that goes on there, or it's orchestrated. But let's just look at the nuclei, okay? Just them alone. Remember, muscle fibers are highly nucleated, and when if your body does build a myotube, these nuclei will fuse with them, and they can synthesize protein. That's what they do. They synthesize protein to support further muscle growth of that myonuclear domain. But notice when they retrain, they come back and they retrain. Look what happens. It just that they didn't get any more. They didn't get any more of them. Why didn't they get any more of them? Why did they only ever get it once? Right here, where they're first training, untrained first training satellite cell fusion. Why did they get it? Want to know why that happened? Because I'll tell you why it happened. Here's what happened. So it's called myonuclear domain size limit. It says MND size has a ceiling limit during what? During hypertrophic process. Beyond which extra myonuclei are donated by satellite cell to do what? To support further muscle growth. So it hit a ceiling limit. When did it hit that ceiling limit? It says during hypertrophic process. Okay, here's that hypertrophic process. It hit a ceiling limit. See that? The limit? There's the ceiling limit. Now over there it says satellite cell fusion. Okay, what does it say here? It hit a ceiling limit during hypertrophic process, right? And then it says it's beyond. Now it says it's beyond which extra nuclei are donated by who? The satellite cell. To do what? To support further muscle growth. Okay, where's the satellite cell? There's the satellite cell fusing. It's not donating. The satellite cell is not donating anymore. It's not supporting what? Further muscle growth. Why not? What do you need to support further muscle growth? You need these nuclei. Why do you need these nuclei? Because they synthesize protein. So how can a bulk diet get this satellite cell to donate any more extra nuclei to support further muscle growth? You think, does it say anywhere in there that you need bulk diets to support further muscle growth? No. Look, you could read this. You could go in here. Look. You can read this. This stuff will tell you about the nuclei. You can go in here. In which previously untrained fibers acquire new nuclei through what? First training route. Yeah, you call them newbie gains. These newly acquired nuclei are causally related to what? Subsequent fiber enlargement. You see that? They are related to subsequent fiber enlargement. For example, because limitations in the synthetic capacity for each nucleus might be too limited to support what? Larger domain without increasing the number. Get it, bro? On subsequent detraining, the fibers maintain an elevated number of nuclei that might provide resistance to what? Atrophy. On retraining, listen to what they say. On retraining, a gain in size can be obtained by what? Moderate increase in protein synthesis rate of each of these many nuclei. So you don't really need to train to synthesize, to grow those muscles again, to get them to come back from atrophy. You don't need to lift weights in a gym. You know what you do? You just eat a lot of protein. As long as protein synthesis exceeds that breakdown, then those nuclei will synthesize that protein and that domain will enlarge. Get it, dude? Yeah. So they say here the nuclei might provide resistance to a retraining. A gain in size can be obtained by a moderate increase in protein synthesis rate of each of these many nuclei. Now, skipping the step of adding newly formed nuclei, this shortcut may contribute to the relative ease of retraining compared with the first training of individuals with no previous training history. Now, can you get more of these nuclei? Can you bypass this when it hits a ceiling limit? Yeah. You have to repeat this cycle. You got to repeat that. However, how that got it says here, untrained first training satellite cell fusion. Now, in science, they're going to tell you unaccustomed exercise is known to, this is muscle damage. An untrained muscle gets damaged. Okay? Anything that goes with UN. Unfamiliar forms, untrained, and unaccustomed exercises. That's why if you go into here, let's see, hold on a second. they'll say, okay, so if you go into here, you see here at the bottom, this is NCBI. It says unaccustomed eccentric exercise is known to cause what? Widespread muscle damage, an absolute norm in the eccentric exercise. You understand me? Look, if you don't believe me, go all the way down here. The bottom will tell you. Right there, the conclusion. See the conclusion? Unaccustomed eccentric exercise is known to what? Cause widespread muscle damage. An absolute norm in the eccentric exercise is the so-called repeated bout effect. Okay, what is the repeated bout effect? Well, what's preventing you from getting more nuclei? What's preventing you? Well, they told you right there. Repeated bout effect. Let's find out what this repeated bout effect is. Why do we have to do unaccustomed exercise? Why do we have to be untrained, unaccustomed, and unfamiliar? Because it becomes protected. Oh, look, muscles protected from any more damage. Oh, understand the repeated bout effect. The protective effect against muscle damage from a single bout of eccentric exercise. Fuck, there's no more damage. It's an adaptation. Oh, the repeated bout effect refers to the adaptation whereby a single bout of eccentric exercise protects against muscle damage from subsequent eccentric bouts. Fuck, that really gotta suck, doesn't it, dude? That's why when you go back here, man, the repeated bout effect phenomena protects that from getting any more damage. Jesus, there's no more damage because it happened when the first bout, that was the first bout, untrained. There's no more. So how does a bulk diet bypass this? How does it bypass and get the satellite cell to donate its nuclei to support further muscle growth? Not.
Extreme case. So I want people.
I love to hear this fake guru. Man, I tear these fake gurus up, man, with real science. I eliminate them. I destroy them. I crush them, bro. You understand me? I destroy these people.
To understand, there have been cases where I have had extremely underweight lifters bulk, but
bulking does not bypass M&D size limit. Okay, dude?
Here's your context. Even at the most aggressive bulks, he wasn't gaining 4 or 5 pounds a month. Okay, and I also tell people it is perfectly reasonable to make lean gains for years. In other words, you don't even have to do serious bulks and then cuts. You can actually make pretty lean gains and just slowly gain muscle over time.
You cannot gain any lean muscle over time or anything until you bypass M&D size limit. You understand me? Bulk diets do not build muscles. Protein does. Look, if you had a lot of these nuclei, all you'd have to do is go down to the buffet and be in a positive nitrogen balance. Eating protein synthesis exceeds that breakdown in the body. While it's not breaking down, it should be growing. Your nuclei should be synthesizing protein. I don't know how much nuclei you have in your body. If you tried that, maybe you would find out. I don't know. You can actually build muscle. Science says you can build muscle. You can build muscle without lifting weights, providing protein synthesis exceeds that breakdown, and you have these nuclei to synthesize that protein. Get it? Now, they say some like me in the past. I kind of atrophied one time, the mass. I remember some of the mass atrophied. But I bounced back so fast. I literally just choked back a lot of protein, and the muscle bounced back really quick in those days because I was still full of nuclei. But, you know, over the years, decades went by. I don't lift weights or anything. I don't know. Are they totally permanent, these nuclei? I don't know. I don't really see the mass coming back like it did in the past when I was young. You understand me? I can't really tell you. They'll tell you they're permanent, but they can be lost on atrophy. See what I mean? Anything could be lost on an atrophy. If you starve yourself or whatever, an atrophy, you can lose them. For sure, they would be gobbled up. They would be eaten by your body in a degenerative state or whatever, necrosis, degeneration, or whatever. That's why, you know, you have to, in some regards, you have to kind of keep training in a way, or you have to kind of, or in other words, you have to, not really training, you have to eat a lot of protein to maintain that domain. That's really difficult for some people. I don't know. They tend to eat a lot of drug-induced carbohydrate diets, which interferes with the protein being absorbed, and it's anti-nutrient. So, yeah.
It's the problem is that it takes a lot of patience, right? The downside of that, guys will get upset because their progress seems to be going so slow. But it's like, yeah, but you're never cutting and you're never getting fat.
You're never cutting, you're never getting fat. You're getting fat. You're getting fat, and you're creating artificial muscles through glycogen.
So just put that into perspective. You don't also have the regression that occurs because when you have to cut 20 pounds, there's regression. All right. So when I talk about...
Why do you have to cut 20 pounds? Let me get it straight. He put on 20 pounds on an aggressive bolt, and then he had to cut 20 pounds. That makes absolutely no sense. And how do you cut 20 pounds? On an artificial diet again? None of this makes sense at all whatsoever.
This is something I see all the time. Guys will hear, well, they need to gain weight. And I think they'll buy too much into, say, the starting strength.
That's the best when people say they need to gain weight. Do you need to gain muscle or do you need to gain weight? Weight's easy to gain. Anybody can get fat gaining weight.
Model. And I want to be clear that while I feel starting strength did actually help bring a lot to getting barbell work and progressive overload and everything back into the mainstream, teaching decent form on the barbell lifts, like I don't want to take that away because that is a valid contribution. The diet advice was horrific, right? Having all these guys adding a gallon of milk a day, bulking 4 or 5 pounds a month, that's insane. And that is insane. And when you see people do it, you get lifters all the time who are like, I made no progress in a year. And they didn't. Because what happens? They come in and they overbulk. They hear all of that instead of saying, I could gain a pound every month. I could gain 2 pounds every month. Because I could...
Anybody can gain a pound or 2 pounds a month eating garbage in, garbage out. Eating artificial diets, non-human artificial diets, anybody can gain weight. That's why we're so obese out there. Everybody's so obese. The people in the gyms, when I look at them, they're so obese. They look at me, they stare at me now, and they're like constantly staring at me because I'm on a pure protein, natural protein, human diet. Get it? And so they just can't stop looking at me because my hair is nice, my skin is nice, I have nice tone, I look young, I look really good now. I look better on my normal diet as a human eating meat, protein meat, as opposed to eating any of these fruits or weird vegetables or weird foods or whatever, fake foods or pasta or anything, or bread or whatever, or these grains or anything like that, or cereals or whatever. So all that stuff will just destroy it's defeating the purpose. Look, eating garbage in, garbage out calories defeats the purpose. So what's the point of going to the gym? You want to keep defeating the purpose? That's why these natural people, they just can't make it. Now, steroids are cosmetic. Remember, it's fake. Well, people are going to say, well, they put in the work. Yeah, they may have put in some work, but they didn't really put in the work. They put in the same work where they failed. They put in the same failure work where they failed. But steroids, they give you an artificial cosmetic look. So they didn't really put in the work, because if they really did put in the work to try to bypass MND size limit, protein synthesis needs to exceed that breakdown, need to be in a positive nitrogen balance, anabolic. If they really put in that work, then they would have built something real. So if they came off any of these cosmetics, the drugs, had they really put in the work, then they would have had something to show for it. But guess what? When they stop the drugs, they have absolutely zero to show for any of that so-called hard work that they put in. Get it, dude?
Consider 2 pounds aggressive. Like take Robbie, use him as an example. We gained a couple pounds a month for well over a year.
Robbie who? Robbie Robinson? He's fake. He's on cosmetics, dude. He's not building anything, you moron.
But he was very underweight. He looked emaciated. He was very tall. Taller lifters have more potential for muscle growth in terms of actual...
You mean with cosmetics? Faking it? Oh, man. This is like typical. This is your coach. This is your coach? My God, what kind of coach is this?
Body weight on a month-to-month basis.
I'll explain this. Nuclei enhance your performance in the natural world. The more nuclei you can get, the more you'll have you'll be enhanced. Your performance will be enhanced. I'm not joking, man. I'm talking from experience, from over 26, something 27 years ago. I'm telling you, if you can get him, if you can build him, if you know how to get him, then you will enhance your performance, especially if you're a young guy. Teenagers, people in their 20s up to their early, whatever, up to 30. After 30, you're kind of really going downhill. You want to get him in your teenage years or your 20s. That's really the best time to get more of these nuclei. So you need to learn how to bypass MND size limit to get the nuclei, so you can enhance your performance, and you will bypass MND size limit and a bunch of things. Okay, dude?
Right? So it's a little bit different. Plus, he was very underweight. That's an aggressive bulk. Even at that, a lot of people are going to gain some fat. And when we look at the research we have, overbulking doesn't cause faster muscle growth. We don't have evidence for that.
How could bulking... We don't have any evidence for bulking for growing faster muscle growth. Bulking doesn't build muscles.
In other words, gaining 4 or 5 pounds a month doesn't seem to cause more muscle growth than a pound or two for most people.
Yeah, but he's saying that the 4 or 5 pounds is muscle growth. What are you talking about?
It's not like, well, they're just gaining a higher ratio of fat. No, there's a point where...
No, they're gaining fat.
It's not like, well, they're just gaining a higher ratio of fat. No, there's...
Yeah, they are gaining a higher ratio of fat and glycogen in the muscle. They're loading energy in the muscle and energy and the form of energy in triglyceride. Yeah, man, fat.
The point where, and we can...
And a lot of it's a visceral fat. You may not even realize this, but a lot of fat you're carrying is visceral. And you may be eating these plants like cellulose, like fiber, and you could carry up to 40 pounds of poop, 20, 10, 20, 30, 40 pounds of poop backed up in your intestines, because you can't digest fiber. It backs up your system, it destroys your gut. Meat doesn't do that at all whatsoever. It dissolves in the hydrochloric acid and it's all peed out. Yeah.
Argue against it all we want. We can argue the chain of logic, and I have argued that chain of logic. Well, there still should be some additional growth. Well, we're not measuring it in the lab. It doesn't actually seem to.
No, there's not going to be any additional growth because it hit a ceiling limit, like it said there in science.
Be real. So we can hypothetically argue that it might, but it hasn't been measured. So at that point, all the extra weight gain is fat. Like it's fair to assume that I don't care how advanced you are or how novice you are, if your weight gain is exceeding about 2 pounds a month, all of it is fat beyond that. Every single last drop. We could argue that for some people's frames, or definitely people who finish their noob gains, even if you're gaining a pound, anything over 1 pound a month, you're going to gain significant fat from it. Okay?
It's all going to be fat. All of it's going to be fat.
And anything beyond that first pound, all of that is always going to be fat. Always. So
no, anything after the MND size limit is going to be fat, unless you did something extraordinary to get that progenitor, the satellite cell, to donate its nuclei to that domain to support what? Further muscle growth, dude. Get it?
In that context, when you see guys who are like, well, I've been gaining 4 pounds a month, 5 pounds a month, how many lifters do that? I see it all the time. For 6 months.
Look, you can go down to the buffet. Let's say you're a gym lifting slave, okay? Like the rest of these people. Go ahead, go to the gym and lift your weights like you normally lift them. Go to the gym and lift them like a lifting slave that you are, okay, dude? A gym slave that you are. Now go there and lift. Now go down to the buffet and gobble down 4 or 5 pounds of meat every single day. Just keep doing that every day. Gobble down meat. And just do your same lifting routine, your crappy, stupid lifting routine that you do in the gym. And notice you're not putting on any weight. There's no muscle. There's no gaining of weight or anything. There's nothing going on there. And the people are probably looking at you thinking, holy shit, look how much meat you've been eating. Oh my God, you've been eating 4 or 5, 6 pounds of meat. But guess what? You didn't gain a pound. And 3 weeks have passed and you've been eating 5 days a week there at the buffet. 6 pounds of meat every day, but you didn't gain a pound. Why? You're lifting weights, aren't you? You're lifting, right? Why aren't you gaining any weight? Because you want to know why? Because you don't have any additional nuclei to support what? Further muscle growth, dummy.
Put on 30 pounds, 35 pounds in 6 months.
Because protein builds muscles, right? Okay, so if protein builds muscles, why aren't you building any muscles? Why do you have to eat carbohydrates if protein builds muscles? Why do you have to bulk? Why do you have to eat donuts? Why do you have to eat any of these fake foods? None of this makes sense.
Yeah, they make decent gains, but they don't make faster gains than if they just gained 1 pound. Like if had they gained 5 pounds, 6 pounds of body.
Yeah, man. Blaha is such a I don't even want to use that word again, dummy. He's so dumb, bro.
Weight, 7 pounds of body weight. In that same window, they would have gained almost, if not just as much strength and muscle. Pretty.
They're not going to gain strength and muscle. They're gonna get better at lifting. They're going to get chemical strength. They're going to gain some chemical strength, which does nothing. It's not going to reflect on any muscle growth at all. They may think it is, but yeah, they just think, well, I gained weight because I ate dog food. I ate dog food and it gained me some weight. So that's why I got stronger. No, you're getting fatter. I love it when they say, when I get fat, I get stronger. All these crazy people, they eat these fake diets and they go, I ate a lot of fake food. I ate all this carbohydrates and it made me stronger. Whatever. I got fat and it made me stronger. I got fat. I'm stronger when I'm fat. No, you're not. You're just eating drugs all day called sugar. You understand me? Sugar is a drug. It's an energy drug. It too enhances your performance. Sugar can enhance your performance too, definitely. Because it's a drug. It's made from plants, dude.
Almost 2. But instead they gained 35 pounds. So they end up gaining like 30 pounds of body fat. Then they're
Of course they gain body fat because that's all they're doing.
happy. They're like, I look unhealthy, I look sloppy, none of my clothes fit, I don't look like I lift at all. Because it's one thing to gain 30 pounds of
See, they gain 30 pounds of fat and they look terrible in their clothes. They don't look lean and nice and pristine.
over a year or 2.
Yeah.
2 years, okay.
Okay,
Do it in 6
Blaha.
months. It's almost all fat.
It's all fat,
90%
Blaha.
of that is fat.
It is.
You're just going to get fat. That's what's going to happen.
Damn.
Then they cut. All right, well,
Then they cut. They're just gonna get fat, broski.
how hard is it to cut 30 pounds of fat? How
I don't
much
know, how hard
muscle
is
do
it?
you lose? Well, if you have 30 pounds of fat to lose, it's pretty fair to assume you're going to lose 4 or 5 pounds of muscle with it if you do it in a reasonable time frame.
You're gonna lose muscle if you're losing fat? Well, not necessarily, as long as protein synthesis does not exceed that. When protein synthesis exceeds that breakdown, then you won't lose any muscle if you're trying to lose fat. Yeah.
Not saying when you take 2 years. If you do it in 3 months, 4 months, you're going to lose 5 pounds of muscle. So do you guys see where we're going with this? Bulk 30, 35 pounds in 6 months.
If you want to know what I'm crunching on, it's pork rinds, it's pork skin. That's all it really is, okay?
Diet for 4 months, lose 90% of the muscle growth that you got. So you end up getting 1 month.
Diet for 4 months and lose 90% of your body fat. You don't need to diet. You just eat your natural carnivore diet. Meat. Protein synthesis exceeds that breakdown. You will not lose muscle. You will not lose that mass that your newbie gained mass that you gained in the beginning when you were untrained. Get it, dude? Yeah.
Worth of gains. You threw away 9 or 10 months of your life to make
brother.
no measurable muscle growth.
Oh my God.
That's over. Well, that's what I mean by people.
Man, everybody got their initial growth in muscle in the beginning when they first came in the gym, and then they never got it again. That's why they keep complaining. I reached genetic limit, newbie gains, and I'm a hard gainer. And then Greg Doucette has to convince you of the same crap. Get it? None of them are telling you how to get more of it.
Overbulking.
But they will sell you a turkesterone and all these fake things and creatine to blow up your muscles and carbohydrates to blow up your muscles with carbs, with glycogen, with creatine, with water, and Turk Builder with water and a bunch of other weird products to build water in your muscles.
This is a problem. Because that is what ends up happening, because they get upset and like, oh man, I gained way too much fat, I gotta cut, and they cut.
Here's the thing, some of these so-called newbie people, when they came into the gym, they eased into it, and a lot of them didn't even get a donation of the nuclei because they didn't go all out in the beginning. You need to go all out in the beginning as an untrained lifter. That's where the damage takes place. But if you didn't get any damage and you didn't get DOMs and you didn't feel it for the next 4 or 5 days after your workout, then you really never got any of these nuclei, get it, to support further muscle growth. So a lot of people, a lot of them, they're just loading glycogen in the muscle. Like they work out, they load glycogen, then they go away and they go, I atrophied. And then I came back to the gym and guess what? My muscles blew up again so fast. How did they blow up? Oh, I ate these carbohydrates. Oh, okay, John. Hey, what, John? I ate these carbohydrates. They blew up so fast. I guess that's muscle memory. That isn't muscle memory. You people are daft in the brain. You don't even understand what's building your muscle. Protein builds muscles. So why are you eating carbohydrates and then saying my muscles blew up? See what I mean? Or they came back or something. Even for the mass to atrophy on a muscle, it takes a long time. It takes more than a year. You'd have to be out of the gym for a year. And after about 1 year, yeah, the mass could start going away if you're not maintaining it when protein synthesis exceeds that breakdown. Get it? If you're not eating that, then yes, it would atrophy, okay? So you have to maintain it with protein. It has to be net positive balance.
Hard. And again, perfectly normal. I mean, if you know, assume for every 10 pounds that you lose, at least a pound or two of it's going to be muscle.
No, it's not.
See where I'm going? So if you...
No, it's not. It's not. You're not going to lose muscle as long as protein synthesis exceeds that breakdown. Look, I'll explain this to you, okay? Give me 1 second. Oh, no, we don't want this one. Hold on a second. No, we don't want that one either. Hold on. NCBI, we want this one. This is the one that we want, okay? If muscle is going to gain mass, protein synthesis must exceed that protein breakdown. But there's a part in here that's missing because it tells you, hold on a second. It'll tell you net positive 0. I don't know if it's, I'm gonna have to go inside here. Hold on a second. Okay, here it is. I don't know if it's gonna tell you. Here it is. Okay, net level of protein balance must equal 0. Okay. So resistance, exercise, nutrition, and protein synthesis. Skeletal muscle is continually breaking down and synthesizing protein. If muscle is going to maintain its mass, they didn't say lifting weights. They said if it's going to maintain its mass, now that you built that mass, the net level of protein balance must equal what? 0. So when it doesn't equal 0, guess what happens? The mass atrophies. Yep, it'll atrophy. It'll atrophy if you can't maintain it with what? When the net level of protein balance must equal 0. That's what happens, okay, dude? So I gotta save this part. I don't know. This part's important. Okay, so I'm gonna go back to the video. So you get the picture, dude. You get it. I don't know if you get it. Maybe you don't get it. Maybe you do. Maybe you don't. I don't know. Who the hell knows?
If you lose 30 pounds, you know, 3,
Lose 30 pounds, okay.
5, 6 pounds of muscle is going to be lost. Well, if that was the entirety of your gains for the bulk, you got nowhere. You literally wasted that time. You wasted that time. You really did.
If you take gear, steroids, or TRT, you've wasted your time and you've wasted your life away. Yeah.
Which you could have done in 1 month. You could have been at that same end goal for the 10 months, 9 months sooner. Okay?
No, you can't be. Unless you can bypass MND size limit, you will be stuck. You will be stuck. There's no goal.
That's what I mean by overbulk. Don't bulk that fast. It's stupid.
Again, it does not say that bulking overcomes the myonuclear domain size limit. It says the progenitor can no longer donate any extra nuclei to that domain to support further muscle growth because it synthesizes protein to further that domain. Okay?
It always ends badly. Always.
Always.
All right, guys, but that's really all I have to say on that today.
Thank
I
God.
hope it's been informative, and I'll talk to you guys and gals next time.
Very uninformative. I'll see you in the next one, friends. You tell me what you think about that. Like, subscribe, support the channel, comment down below in the comment section, and tell me what you think about what I posted as opposed to what he's trying to convince you and what real science really says how muscles build. See you in the next one. Ciao, friends.